BPOP, I've mentioned that. Low-res colour proof, that's for content only. High-res colour proofs, make sure your printer can actually match his colour proofs, because otherwise there's no point in paying for a high-resolution colour proof if it's not going to look like what you get when you get the job. It's it's not sufficient to look at a screen and say, yeah, well that's what I want, because it's not going to be deadly accurate. Again, this is where you get designers coming in. They will know what the finished job will look like from experience. They know their screens aren't colour accurate, and they're not bad, but they're not brilliant. They're okay for photographs, but for everything else they tend to be a little bit red or a little bit green or whatever. So a high-res colour proof is very, very important. I mean, obviously you can save money by trotting along to your printer and doing a press pass. Don't go for the high-res colour proof, but if you change it at press pass time, it's going to cost you a fortune. Typically a high-res colour proof for an A4 will cost you about £5, and that will be exactly what the printer should print to. And you need to make sure that he can. Papers, FSC, which obviously everybody's ticking green boxes nowadays. FSC is the most well-known one, which is Forestry Stewardship Council. Printers need to be approved. The printer has his number and he's on the actual logo when it's produced. And what it is an audit trail. You can go back to the forest where the tree was cut down. PEFC is exactly the same, but just it's like Betamax and VHS. They're just different sort of different schemes. Right, just on the first bit now. If you look at the first box, I've just given you a little example on how you can save money by batching things together. The prices are pretty accurate, but don't nail me down to a penny. 100,000 A4 leaflets folded to DL, your typical leaflet, brochure or whatever, that might be done for a tourist attraction or a mail shot or 101 different things. Printed on 130 gram paper, so again it's a typical product. You buy it on its own, it's going to cost you £1,432. If you can buy 2 of them, it's going to cost you £1,246 each, so that's 12% saving. If you can get 4 of them, 19% saving. And if you actually know 8 people that are doing it, or you can do 8, you can put it on a thundering great big printing press and save yourself 27%. That's a huge saving. So that comes as part of the planning in advance. What's happening nowadays is a lot of the, I do quite a lot of work with tourist attractions, and in certain areas, not quite so much Cornwall, you find that everybody wants their brochures, well, in Cornwall as well, but everybody wants their brochures on the same day. They're delivered to the same place, and they could be the same size, they could be the same quantity, although very often they're not. Cornwall tends to be a bit more disparate, but you go to Devon and there's lots and lots of people having 100,000 brochures, for instance. So you batch them together. I've just done one now where there's 3 tourist attractions that are actually sharing a plate, because we don't print 1 brochure at a time, we print 8 A4 brochures at a time, or 4 with smaller printers, 2 with some printers, but it's still the same thing applies. There are very few people that can actually get 8 brochures to print together, but if you do, 27%, that's huge. The second example shows what I was talking about talking to your printer, changing your specification, this sort of thing. If you are doing a 32-page catalogue, there we are, 20,000 A4 brochures printed on 130 gram gloss art paper. So, a typical touring park brochure, a product catalogue, a small product catalogue or something like that. You do 16 pages. What I've done, I've actually priced it there as a cost per page, not one, but 20,000. So on a 16-page brochure, it's £2,107, £117. £132 a page that costs you. Quite efficient. Do a 20-page brochure. I mean, this will change according to your printer, but generally these rules, how big a press the printer's got, etc., etc. But you can see how it works roughly. 16 pages, nobody prints more than 16 pages well, not on 20,000 brochures, nobody will print more than 16 pages at a time. So to go to 20 pages, it's £143 a page. So it jumps up quite a bit. there are various things that you can do to mitigate that. You can say, well, I need 20 pages, I've got 20 pages of products to sell. So what you do is you reduce the weight of the paper on the inside and put a slightly heavier cover on it. So you're saving money on 16 pages and adding a bit of money and a bit of quality on the cover. But, you know, again, that's talking to a printer. 24 pages isn't bad, £138 a page, pretty good. 28's horrible, 144. 32 is £127 a page. So you can see how it sort of goes up and down according to how well it fits various printing presses. But, and this is the killer again, which comes into planning. If you've got 28 pages and that's all you can fill, you've got no more things to say. So, but what you can do, so you can get 2 lots of A4 flyer. You could have 40,000 A4 flyers for the same price. It's actually a bit of a no-brainer, really. It's planning in advance. I'm doing my brochure, it's 28 pages, that's horrible format. Nobody does 28 pages particularly well. There aren't 28-page presses. So you do 32, and you get 2 free leaflets. I mean, that's pretty good. 40,000 A4 flyers for nothing. That's the advantages that you can get by, as I say, talking to your printer. I've given you it's a little aid memoir, which it's probably worth sort of hanging on to. Common paper sizes, envelope sizes, etc., etc. And I hope it's been of some use. The answer is, talk to a friendly printer. We've got a few around here. So thank you very much for your time. Okay.